Hello everybody, this is Professor Chandana Goswami from Tejpur University, and today I will be talking about written communication. We will go through the principles, structure and mechanics of writing, report writing, circulars, notices, memos, minutes of meeting, styles of writing letter, and finally common errors in writing. Let's begin with the principles. So there are three principles. Follow the mechanics of writing, create an audience-centric tone, and end on a positive note. I will start the explanation in the reverse order. When we say end on a positive note, it means that you must have a closing line which talks about expressing gratitude or maybe thanking or maybe looking forward to some interaction, and you have written it very nicely with a whole lot of courtesy. So that is ending on a positive note. Then create an audience-centric tone. If you are writing the report, you have to ensure that your reader is going to read it, and your reader must see some benefit out there. Therefore, create an audience-centric tone. And now let's come to the mechanics of writing. Use the three-step writing process: planning, writing, completing, or in other words, we say pre-drafting stage, drafting stage, and the post-drafting stage. You must spend maximum time in the first two, that is pre-drafting and drafting. You have to ensure that your contents are okay. You have written it in the way or in a manner that the reader will be able to understand it exactly as you want him or her to. This requires multiple revisions. Please do not think that the first draft is the best draft. You will require multiple times of drafting, and then in the post drafting you will do the take care of the font size, or you look at the layout, try to make it visually appealing. All that will happen in the post drafting. So when you are writing, the first thing is that you must define the problem. You need to understand why are you writing. Is it to inform or persuade or regulate or collaborate? And accordingly the tone is going to be set. Second is, from where do you gather material for the content? Is it available internally in-house, or you have to search for external sources? Once you have the material, you must organize it. You must plan, write, and spend sufficient time revising. Finally, you will finish the text. You will ensure that there is proper formatting and incorporating of structural details, and please proofread. Sometimes you must ask somebody else to proofread for you because you will not be able to find out your own mistakes. When somebody else reads it, then the other person can point out mistakes for you. When you are composing professional messages, you must keep in mind the following. Adapt to your reader. We always say that it has to be reader-centric. And when you are communicating with multiple readers, suppose it is a letter or a report that you are sending out and is going to be read by 10 to 20 different people, all of them at different ranks, then you must communicate in such a way that even the lowest member of the group will understand what you are saying. Then next, select right and familiar words. I am giving you an example here. You could write, This machine has a tendency to develop excessive and unpleasant audio symptoms when operating at elevated temperatures. This is a technically correct sentence but tells me nothing. You can use a simple way to write. This machine tends to get noisy when it gets hot. So you can see in the second case, anybody can understand it straight away. Use technical words and acronyms with caution. You will use acronyms if you are addressing a homogeneous group. But if it's a heterogeneous group, please be careful with the acronyms and technical words. For example, CTC has different meanings. In the tea industry, it has a different connotation, crush, tear and curd. Or in other organizations, if you say CTC, we straight away understand it as cost to company. Then you must use concrete language. You can see the example out here. A significant loss. That's an abstract one. It does not tell me how much. But if you say 53% loss, I understand what it is. So that is concrete. When you say in the near future, it is very abstract. How near is the future? But if you say by next month, it makes it a little concrete. And if you want to make it even more concrete, you can give a date. That by the 15th of next month. Avoid sexist words. Again, I'm using an example here. Can you see the first one? If a customer does not pay promptly, he is blacklisted. So when I use the word he, it automatically means that I am talking of male customers, which may not be the case. So if you want to make it a non-sexist, you can, instead of saying he, you will say he/she. Or you can make it even better by saying if customers do not pay promptly, they are blacklisted. So this they word is a gender neutral pronoun. Let's come to reports. A business or a professional report is an orderly and objective communication of factual information that serves a business purpose. Please keep in mind, we are talking of orderly and objective communication. That is one keyword, and we are saying factual information. Plus, it should serve a purpose. So when you have to write a report, ask yourself, what is the problem or issue on which I am about to write? Why is this issue important? Who is involved in the situation? When should the report be written? Because every report has a time frame. Where would the reader be reading the report? This is again important because if the reader is not in front of you, you have to make sure that you write in such a way that there is no ambiguity. And how should the report be written? We will come to different patterns of writing report a little later. So your reports could be of two types. It is an informational report or it is an analytical report. But in any case, it has three major sections. There's an introduction, there's a body, and there's a terminal section. Let's see what happens in an informational report. You can arrange the issues chronologically. You follow the ABCD pattern kind of. Or you will do importance wise. You can do either way, most important to least important or least important to most important. Or if you are defining a sequence or a procedure, you can write it in that pattern. If you wish, you can categorize the topics and then you present it, or you will go alphabetically, or you will go with familiarity, that what is most understood you will explain first and what is least understood you will explain later. By the way, chronologically is date wise. I think I said it the other way around. In an analytical report, you must draft the problem statement, that is the issue that you are tackling, evolve criteria, which means that you must have some parameters against which you will write that report. Then suggest alternatives and evaluation. When you suggest any kind of alternative, you should be able to tell us also what are the advantages and disadvantages of that alternative, or maybe you can do a cost benefit analysis of those alternatives, because then it is easy to make, you come to a conclusion. It is easier to make a conclusion and then the recommendations. In the office space, we use circulars and notices. This is a part of intra-departmental communication, that is within the office. Informational messages are transmitted to all members of the organization, or it is put up on the notice board. And there are some mandatory things that it should contain: the date, day, time, place, purpose of business. All these have to be mentioned in that circular and notice. We also have memos. So these memos are brief official note circulated to one or more than one person, depending on the nature of information to be circulated. It is a slightly watered down version of an official letter. It provides information, makes requests, invites suggestions and puts it on record, and it has a conversational tone. That is why I use the word watered down version of an official letter. And of course, memos must have a reference, date and a subject line. Then when you conduct meetings, you have to create the agenda and circulate it beforehand. So the agenda contains a list of things to be discussed in a meeting, and it is to be circulated in advance so that members mentally prepare themselves for the meeting. Otherwise, you can't just walk into a meeting without knowing why you have come out there. So your agenda should contain the name of the organization and location, day, date, year, time, place of meeting, minutes of previous meeting, and signatures of concerned authority. So at the time of the meeting, we record what is happening during the meeting, and that is referred to as minutes. So minutes are formal recording of proceedings of a meeting, and it is a detailed record of discussion. You can write it in the reported speech form. So like you say, so and so said this, then so and so said that, that is the reported speech form. And these minutes are very, very important, because at times you need to refer to it. Alright, say maybe 6 months down the line, you need to recall what happened in that meeting. Then you look up the minutes. So the minutes that are recorded at today's meeting are circulated for approval from all members and presented in the next meeting. After all the members' approval, the chairman of that meeting signs it and makes it final. Let's now move to letter writing. When you write a letter, these are some of the standard components that must be there. At the top, you must have a letterhead where the name and logo of the company is displayed. A date is required. Then we need the address of the recipient. That means to whom we are writing. So therefore we need the name, we need the job title also, and we need the address. Sometimes you need to use what is known as an attention line in case you do not know who is handling that particular issue that you want to address. So therefore the letter is addressed to the company but with an attention line. For example, if you are sending your CV to a company and you're not sure whether they have a HR manager or not, you do not know the designation, then you can address it to the company but put in an attention line saying that for the attention of HR manager. You begin the letter with a salutation. So if it is an unknown person, you're not familiar, then you will write sir or madam, dear sir, madam. But if you know the person, you can address by name. So you have dear A. Banerjee. This is followed by the subject line. That is the reason for why you are writing this letter. Then the message comes, and finally you have a closing. So when you are closing, you can use things like yours sincerely, faithfully, cordially, truly. And at the bottom, you must have your name, designation, and also your address. Sometimes you need to put in enclosures. Again, if it is a case of applying for a position, you will have a covering letter. It will contain all this, and then maybe you will attach your documents. So they become the enclosures. If you have enclosures, please list it. Say number 1 is this, number 2 is this, like that. At times, this covering letter has to also go to another person who is maybe not directly involved. So therefore you mark a copy. So if this was an application for a position, your main letter will go to the HR, and if you wish, you can mark a copy to the general manager or maybe mark a copy to someone else who you think should be in the loop. There are different styles associated with letter writing. This open style is the old-fashioned style which you do not see anymore. To so and so, we've written out here, dear sir, fine. Subject line will come here. Can you see when we begin a paragraph, we keep an indent. Alright. So after this indent, we start our main letter. And yours truly, etc. comes on the right hand side. So this is an open style. To is on the left hand side, yours truly is on the right hand side, and every paragraph will have an indent. Next is the full block style, which is used nowadays. So everything is aligned on the left. To so and so, dear sir, subject line. You start your letter from the left hand side. There is no indent. Alright. And yours truly comes in. The third style is the semi-block style. It is almost like the full block except that yours truly is coming on the right hand side. Like I said, this full block style is used by most companies. But it is nothing wrong to use an open style or a semi-block style. It actually depends on the culture of the organization. Now let me share some mistakes. You may write something but the meaning will be something else. So this is a student who writes, he is very nicely the salutation is very good, respected madam. Closing is also very nice, yours obediently. But look at the content. My report marks column was left blank in the mark list of FOM at the notice board. Please ensure the marks are added. In case you are not able to understand what is wrong out here, let me point it out. So I wrote back to him a suggestion. Instead of writing, please ensure the marks are added. It would have been more appropriate to write, you are kindly requested to. And this, please ensure, that sounds like an order that the student is giving me. All right. So this is a change that needs to be made. Then there's another one. If you look at this, dear Mr. Brahma, greetings of the day. As part of your discussion with our HOD, the placement coordination team is bringing out its brochure for the session, which coincides with the 25 years of the department, for which we would like to request you to write a small message with the placement brochure encompassing your journey and the importance it has played in your life. Also, we would be very grateful if you write a few words of encouragement for our batch, which will be a motivation for us during the forthcoming placements. Oof, it was indeed a long letter, and I will show you what is wrong out here. Dear Mr. Brahma, you are not writing to a colleague, so I said that how about addressing as sir? He is not your colleague, he is a very senior alumni. Then the first line, as part of your discussion with our HOD, the placement coordination team is bringing out its brochure for the session. It means that after discussing with Mr. Brahma, the department is bringing out the brochure, which was actually not the case. The case was that the placement brochure was being prepared and the HOD had requested Mr. Brahma to write a few lines. And can you see the first paragraph? There were 62 words in one sentence. You do not write lines like that. So with this kind of input, the email changed. Now you can see it's gone as dear sir. The first two lines, greetings and all that is fine. And the message has been broken down into small sentences. And we also had a nice concluding line. All right. So like I said in the beginning, end on a positive note. So the ending was also appropriate out here. Let's move to some more common errors in writing, and this is associated with grammar. So these errors can be avoided if we pay attention to grammar. You have to be careful with nouns. You can see the word bank by itself is a common noun, but if you say Axis Bank, that bank is a proper noun. You also need to check on singular or plural, because there are different ways of writing these plural things. Apostrophe. Can you see man's car, driver's restroom? The first one says it is a car that belongs to the man. The second one says it is a restroom for all drivers. Then pronouns. We must learn to use gender neutral pronouns. I have put in an example out here. Managers must make up their minds as to what items they are going to stock. So this is a case of using gender neutral pronouns. Please pay attention to the use of tense. We Indians are terrible in the use of tense. We mix up past tense, present tense, future tense, and continuous future, continuous present, continuous. Please do not make that mistake. We have also learned how to use period, that is a full stop, question marks, exclamation. Semicolons are also to be used carefully because they separate two closely related independent clauses. As you can see from the example, there is a part of the sentence before the colon, semicolon, and a part after the semicolon. and each of these sentences are independent by itself. Next, colons. You will use colons at the end of a sentence or a phrase introducing a list. So if you want to say these are the following members who were involved, then you put in a colon and then you start listing out the members. We also use commas to separate many items in a series and to avoid ambiguous meaning. Let me share an example. If you look at the two sentences, although they look similar, there is a difference out there. In the first sentence, it looks like you have 4 papers: managerial communication, knowledge management, financial institutions, financial services. In the second case, it actually means 3 papers: managerial communication, knowledge management. Can you see the red comma out there? Then we are saying and, because the next part has another and out there. Alright, so financial institutions and financial services is 1 paper. Like I said, you have to be familiar with singular and plural, and they are really very tricky at times. There are some which remain the same. The ones that I have put in red color, you can see that they remain the same. A luggage will remain a luggage. Doesn't matter how many pieces you have out there. Furniture will always remain furniture. So please work on all this. And finally, your grammar is a reflection of your image. Good or bad, you have made an impression. And like all impressions, you are in total control. So this is a quotation I picked up from Jeffrey Gitmer. And it is your choice how you wish to present your image. So with this I conclude. Thank you very much.